Several years ago, I had this opportunity to work with this Fortune 500 company and an actor, Chris O'Donnell, and we were doing this live web broadcast that was going to be seen by thousands and thousands of people. And even though I had spoken before, I had spoken in front of audiences and felt comfortable speaking, this particular time, I was nervous like you wouldn't believe. I can remember checking my Fitbit that I used to wear, and my heart rate was racing at over 120 beats per minute, like I was going to lose my mind. I was so nervous. Now, chances are, if you're watching this, you also get nervous speaking in front of crowds, of small crowds, big crowds, any amount of people. And today, I want to share with you what are 5 tips that can remove that stress, that anxiety from speaking in front of people. We're gonna find out what those 5 tips are right now. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Wealth Hacker TV. I'm your host, Jeff Rose, and this is the channel dedicated to teaching you new ways to grow wealth that was not taught to you in schools or by your parents. And today we're talking about not freaking out.
Stop it. Get some help.
Speaking in front of people. Now, obviously, since I about passed out giving this talk in New York City, doing this live event with John Hancock and with Chris O'Donnell there, like, I mean, when I say I almost passed out, like, I'm not joking, like, it was bad. I remember my wife actually saying, like, are you okay? Like, I think I was like changing colors, like turning purple or green or something. I got through it, thank goodness. So, since I'm not really qualified to give you those tips, I thought, you know what, let me find somebody that knows a thing or two about speaking. And a good friend of mine, Grant Baldwin, who's the founder of the Speaker Lab, is a professional public speaker. He's given over 500 different talks. He spoke to over 400,000 people, and at one time spoke to an audience over 13,000. So if you're one of those that gets nervous speaking in front of 2 people, imagine 13,000. Like, that is huge.
I always call it massive. Sometimes they say huge. Not a bad one. Huge.
So Grant is going to break down what are his 5 best tips to help you not be nervous speaking in front of people. So take it away, Grant.
Hey, what's up, my friends? Grant Baldwin here from the Speaker Lab channel. Today I'm taking over Jeff Rose's Wealth Hacker channel, and I want to give you 5 speaking tips about how to overcome your nerves. So I've been a full-time professional speaker for the past 10 years. I've spoke to literally hundreds and hundreds of audiences of all different sizes, ranging from literally just a couple of people in a room to arenas with over 10,000 people. And people still ask me all the time, Grant, do you get nervous? And the honest answer is, yeah, I actually still do. I think a lot of times those nerves, those butterflies, those emotions that you're feeling isn't necessarily nerves, like you feel like something's going to go bad or you're getting ready to puke or some disaster is getting ready to take place. I think oftentimes what it is, it's kind of the body's way of responding or reacting to this really big moment. Like if you think back to some of the most critical moments of your life, moments where maybe you proposed to your spouse, or maybe when the birth of a child, or maybe when you were applying for a big job, or you had an important meeting with your boss, and those moments where you may have some of those similar feelings, oftentimes it's not necessarily nerves like you feel like you're going to die, but more along the lines of just this excitement, this energy of you hope this goes well, you think it's going to go well, but you don't really know. And that's really what it is with speaking. So I've had that same feeling, continue to have that same feeling, but I want to help you today with knowing how to overcome those nerves. So tip number 1 here is to make sure you practice. I think the best speakers in the world, they don't just get up there and wing it. They're not just making something up. They're not writing a couple ideas on a napkin and then just running up on stage and hoping that it all magically comes together. The best speakers in the world, they take a lot of time to practice, to rehearse, to go over their talk time and time and time again. So the quick nutshell of my personal process is that I will manuscript out what I'm going to say, like word for word. Now when I'm going back through that, I'm not trying to learn it like a script, okay? Nobody has like a script in the audience, not like they're following along with me, but I'm really trying to make sure that I understand the essence of the talk and where it is that I'm going. So I spend literally hours and hours and hours going over the talk, over the talk, over the talk, so I'm more comfortable and confident. So think about it like this. this. You remember back in school, whenever you would get ready to go take a test or an exam, and there would be times where maybe you'd show up and just like, I'm just gonna wing it and just hope it works out. And so you show up, and how do you feel? You feel nervous, you feel anxious, you feel scared and worried because you really don't know how the test is gonna go because you didn't prepare for it. Versus if you take the time to study, prepare, practice, go over the study questions, do all that you're supposed to do, then that day when you show up for the test, you feel what? You feel a lot more calm, you feel a lot more relaxed. You're nervous, but again, not like in an anxious way, but in a confident way of feeling like, I got this. And so the same thing is true with speaking. Make sure that you practice, make sure that you rehearse, make sure you take the time to go over your material so that you don't just get up and wing it. You do that, and you're probably gonna feel a lot less nervous. All right, so tip number 2 is this, is that you need to see the space. And here's what I mean by that. So one of the things that my wife and our daughters and I, we love to do is we love going to amusement parks and going on roller coasters. I love a good roller coaster. Now, my middle daughter is a little bit nervous whenever it comes to rides. So she gets a little nervous, gets a little anxious, gets a little bit of butterflies, kind of similar to how you might feel before you go speak. So one of the things that our family loves to do is we love to go on YouTube and we love to watch ride videos of the roller coasters we're getting ready to do. And by doing that, it helps her, helps me too, actually get mentally prepared for what's gonna happen. So, okay, I see how we do this, and then, oh, we do this loop, and then it's gonna make this sharp turn. And it's almost like you get to experience it before you actually experience it. And the same thing is true with speaking. One of the best things that you can do is if you're speaking somewhere is to get there early to see the venue, to see the setup, to see the stage, go stand on the stage, to walk around where the seats are, to sit in the seats where the audience would be, to kind of get a feel for the space. See that space so that you're not coming in cold, no idea where everything is, no idea where a camera is or lights are, any of that stuff, but you're more comfortable with the surroundings and more comfortable with the space. If you see the space, you get more comfortable with the space, you'll be a lot more comfortable when you get ready to speak. All right, tip number 3 is this, is that you need to actually care about the topic. I think we can all tell a difference between a speaker who is excited about the topic, who cares about the topic, who's passionate about the topic, versus a speaker who's just kind of like, I don't really care about this. My boss said I'm supposed to talk about this, or this is something I heard I can make some money at talking about, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it and make it up as I go. But the more passionate you are about it, the more that you care about it, the more infectious that is for the audience, and the more that they begin to care about it as well. You start to care about the topic and you'll feel a lot less nervous and a lot more comfortable as well. All right, tip number 4 is this, is to slow down. Now, I'm very guilty of talking fast. I know sometimes my mouth gets going faster than my head, even right now. And sometimes that you can get away with that, but sometimes you start to kind of trip up and you're not really keeping up with where it is that you're going or what it is that you're trying to say. So one of the best things that you can do as a speaker is to slow down. Slow down, like be very conscious and aware of how fast that you're speaking, of taking the time to pause, of taking the time to slow down and speak softer. And oftentimes that pause, that slowing down, your cadence, all of those things can make for a more powerful moment as a speaker. So the faster you go, sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult for the audience to keep up with you, for them to understand and comprehend what it is that you're talking about. But when you slow down, it causes your nerves to calm down as well. All right, and the last and final tip, number 5, is this, is to remember that the audience is on your side. I think sometimes we think as speakers, it's me in front of an audience, and like the audience wants us to fail. The audience wants us to bomb. The audience wants to see us collapse and have this mental emotional breakdown on stage. Listen, that is not true. You've been in the audience before, and what do you want? You want to see a good speaker. You want to see someone who's polished, who has their act together, who's prepared, who's rehearsed, who's not overthinking it, who's not in their own head. So in order to do that, you want to make sure that you remember as a speaker, the audience is on your side. They want you to do well. They want you to win. They want you to be successful, and they want you to give a good presentation. So if you do all these other tips that we've talked about, it leads to a better presentation for you, and it leads to a greater experience for the audience. So again, number 5 is to remember that the audience is on your side.
So the cool thing about having Grant as a friend, I had a chance to speak at a conference, I think it was like 2 years ago now, and he helped me. He listened to my talk. I actually recorded my talk so that he could see it and hear my delivery. And having his help, my goodness, like I was still nervous, but not nearly as nervous as I was in New York City for that other event. And I'm gonna say that I think I crushed it. Like I think that I crushed it. But Am I the only one that gets nervous? Do you get nervous when you're speaking in front of people? Has there ever been a time where you just couldn't do it, that your nerves gave out and you about passed out like I did in New York? Have you ever gotten nervous speaking? Let me know. I want to hear in the comments below. How do you do with public speaking? Do you get nervous, or what are the strategies, tips that you implement so that you don't freak out like I did? All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Peace.